Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Expanded View, episode number 11, today on October the 12th, 2020. Thank you so much for being here. I'm your co-host, Alara Canfield, along with...
Kimberly Crow.
Awesome. So how is everybody doing today? So I just want to share really quickly, it is Thanksgiving in Canada, in case you didn't know that. Normally we celebrate on the weekend, but today's the actual holiday, right? So today's the Canadian Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian family and friends. And also it is also my anniversary, 6 years. Me and my husband, we got married today, 6 years ago. So it's like, yay.
I saw your beautiful wedding picture on your personal page, and I thought it was yesterday, so I wasn't realizing it was actually today that I saw it. I'm kind of
that's
been
okay. Yeah,
out of the time loop.
So it's like, it's like so much, it's like when I look back then, it's like, oh my goodness, such a, totally different type of, energy, and I'm a different person and everything. It's like, oh my goodness, so much has changed, but I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So it's, it's like I wanted to talk a little bit about that today, about gratitude, about appreciation, about change, and going with the flow and going into the unknown. Because when I moved here, or when I married my husband, it was like we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know if we were going to live in Canada at the time, or if we were going to move here to Austria. And then we ended up moving here to Austria, and it's like, I came here with two suitcases. Remember I told you that, right? I came here with two suitcases. Yeah. I sold everything, came here with two suitcases. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. It took me a little while to get settled, but my husband is so wonderful. I'm so grateful for, for him, for our life together, for just our whole relationship. And I'm really lucky, as, whenever I talk to my aunt or my mom or somebody, they say, so what are you guys doing? So, oh, Robert just cooked, or he's in the middle of cooking. It's like, what's he making? It's like, I don't know, something, but he's like, you're so wonderful. Yeah, exactly. And they're like, you're so lucky. He's like, I know, I am. Because everybody knows I don't cook,
Oh, you don't cook?
Mm-mm. I do not cook. So my husband cooks. My idea of cooking is making grilled cheese sandwich, in a panini maker, right? So I can make scrambled eggs, that I can do, but spaghetti, boil spaghetti and have a can of sauce, or a jar of sauce. Yeah, I'm not a cook. So I'm so grateful that he likes to cook. He loves it, and he's so good at it, and the food is always tasty. I have to somehow get him to slowly switch to, more vegetarian stuff, because he's a meat guy, right?
Yeah, right.
So I have to slowly get him to switch over to something else. But in the meantime, it's all good. I'm not gonna criticize, because it's all, I think he's like, 99% of the time it's excellent, tasty, and healthy. He's all about it. Well, his idea of healthy means it's cooked well, Forget about vegetarianism or vegan, this or that, but as long as whatever he's cooking is cooked well and good ingredients, for him, that's healthy, right?
Well, it is. And the love he puts in it, that changes the vibration.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it does. This weekend, speaking of food, we're going to talk about food evidently today. This will not stay. My hair is, I think my hair is pushing it out. I facilitated a weekend retreat, and
yeah, I got the email.
I saw. I know. Whatever that was this morning. I fixed that 3 times for it to go out to the people that went to the retreat, because I kept seeing that it was switching over and sending it to everybody. And I kept switching it back to the people I tagged, and it showed they tagged, and then it sent out. And then I got the notice said that it went to my whole list, and it was like, okay.
Well, at least we all know that you can do retreats, and that you did a retreat, and so maybe there'll be another retreat.
They were all in an altered state, and then I was letting them know what to prepare for.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay,
we were receiving in hindsight, So
that's right, you were. So you were connected to all of it. So there was a person that I basically scholarshiped her, and she was going to be the kitchen person,
Hmm.
like because it was all inclusive, and I had brought all the food in, and so this person was going to do that, and she did one of the processes, and then too much come up for her, and she was judging herself, and she decided she didn't want, what, that's her stuff.
Yeah.
She didn't want to do any more of them, and so she went back into the kitchen, and
Mm.
I was in the middle of the process and listening, and then I just got go into the kitchen, and I walked into the kitchen, and when I did, I had already felt it once, but I wasn't sure who I had felt this off of, because I walked through them, and because I'm constantly checking on their energy, when you're holding space for everybody,
Hmm.
and I felt all this nausea. And I walked in the kitchen, and I mean, it hit me like a wall. I mean, it was like, whoa. And I looked at her and I said, "Can you step outside for a minute?" And she looked at me like deer in the headlight. I think she thought I was calling her out or something. And she went, "Yeah." And I said, "Then go outside." And she was like, "What?" And I went, "Go outside, go hug a tree now."
Mm.
And she was like, "Oh, okay." And she went, "Why?" And I went, "Cause you're like releasing and it's dumping." And when I walked into the kitchen, it was like this wave of nausea. You can't do that in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause that's going to affect all the food, you know?
You can't do that in my kitchen,
Hmm.
that where I'm holding space for all these people that I'm accountable to. And I was like, I said, "We won't go into that now. It doesn't matter. Just go outside and hug a tree, and I'll tell you later." I didn't tell her that part then. I
Yeah.
just said, "You need to go outside because you're detoxing. You're detoxing, you're dumping stuff, and go outside. Go ground and
Hmm. Hmm.
hug a tree. Go
Yeah.
tell." I said, ask mother to just take it for you and let it go. And she went, "Oh, okay." And then she came back in, and so I went into the kitchen and just started, opening up vortexes and clearing everything and making sure I cleared any food that she might have done. I would just go, "Okay, where do I need to clear at?" And I was doing that. So
Yeah.
what you were saying, it's really important. I mean, she loved what she was doing, but she was detoxing in the middle of it. And it, that's the difference. It's like the love he's putting in your food makes it taste so good.
Oh my God, so good, so good. I'm like, and I end up eating more than I normally would, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. Oh my,
It's all the love he's putting in it.
yeah,
That's,
that's
and
what it
and that
is.
it means so much to him to do that. He loves what he's doing. It's his passion.
It does. See, it would not
And you
mean that
can
much to me if I were to do it. For me, it would be
no,
a
it probably wouldn't
chore.
taste very good either.
Doesn't taste like anything. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. And that's the thing. If like, somebody loves to do that, then let them do that and appreciate them for doing that. Right. So I appreciate him for doing that, and I tell him, oh my
Exactly.
God, I'm so lucky. You're so great and you're so wonderful and blah, blah, blah. Right. And that helps, that helps him to continue to do more. So and now I've told him, okay, do this one dish he made, which whatever it is, it's like, okay, you can do this every week if you want. I have no problem. Every week. This is so good. We can definitely have this again. And then yesterday he made something else. And it's like, well, this is like, did we really need to have this now? It's like it's the middle of the night. And it's like, I don't know if we should be eating this, but it was good. It's like, oh, this is the keeper too. So so it's like keeper, awesome, right? And so all these things, when I encourage him, then it makes him feel good too. And then he wants to like do that and then try other stuff. I get more stuff, right? He likes to try more stuff.
Right.
So he watches YouTube videos and learns about different recipes
Mm-hmm.
and different techniques and different whatever. It's like, have at it. Whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy, right? And
Yeah.
so, and that's the thing. It's like we need to each find our joy. What makes us happy. Do that, right? And I was thinking today, it's like I'm so lucky, because he's so supportive in not just in the cooking, but in many other ways, right? So I have more time now actually to meditate, do my spiritual practice, like all sorts of different things that, perhaps I didn't have that available to me, in my previous marriage, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
have that available to me in this marriage. So it's like that support is what I really require and really needed. And it's helped me to grow into who I really am, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having that support. And we work in partnership. I mean, I always talk about him and everything he does to support me and how he is with me, but I'm sure I support him too. In some way. It's an equal partnership, right? But the thing is, we each have our roles to play, right? And so he plays the supportive role for me in order for me to do my thing, whatever that is, right?
Right.
So he's my grounding person, he's my stabilizing person, he's my supporting person, so that I can do all the other fun stuff that I love to do. Right. And
Hmm.
so for me, for him, I think I'm like the encouraging, build up his self-esteem, build him up, let him know that he's perfect the way he is, blah, 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 give him love. Because I don't think he ever received love, growing up and all that wonderful stuff. Right.
Maybe not the
So
appreciation. Well,
yeah,
sometimes
definitely not.
our family sometimes doesn't carry it in their own selves to be able to give it to us. If they didn't get to receive it themselves, they actually don't know what it is to
Mhm.
actually give. Yeah.
But the thing is, but he gives, so even though
Right.
he didn't receive, he is a giver for sure, right?
Right.
He's not very good at receiving, but he's a very good giver, And when he gives from the heart. So it's just pure heart, love, intention, right? And
Hmm.
so when you're looking at your own life and your own relationship and how you are with people, whether it's your spouse, partner, family, community, clients, etc., who are you being? Right, that's just what and like, are you able to appreciate all of the relationships in your life, and are you able to appreciate the gift that you are?
Right. Exactly. It's about consciousness and that and consciously, like, what you're doing. Because it's sometimes we just think everybody's conscious, that there's like a and then even I noticed with this, it was like sometimes, like, I was like, okay, this is my plan. And so I had, an expectation that follow my plan
Hmm.
because it was like I put him in the position. But the little things that were like unconscious that I knew the person is conscious of. I knew this, but in her action, it wasn't there. That, like, and there's a connection to that. Like the love, like you said, it's a conscious thing. And where are we conscious in every, like, aspect of our life, and then how it changes. That we're grounded, we're conscious with that around us, and the compassion to self first.
Hmm.
And that's what, just like when we come on here and we just start talking, that's kind of like how the this retreat was, because it was just a chemism retreat. It wasn't like I was just teaching whatever it is that comes up, and we're going to do activations, and I would just listen to spirit and say,
Hmm.
we'll start talking about this, and then it would come up in the processes. And the big part of this weekend that kept coming up was embodying the compassionate one, and you embody it for yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely, and you have to,
And when do we, yeah, how much are we not embodying the compassionate one for ourselves?
yeah. We're so used to being compassionate for others, and that's what we're
Mm-hmm.
taught in society, that's what we're taught in our cultures, that's what we're taught in our families, right? But we're never taught to be compassionate with ourselves. And I think, for the longest time, I was not very kind to myself. I was always
Right.
judging myself, putting myself down, all that wonderful stuff. I was not being compassionate with myself, for the longest time. um Luckily that changed, and when that started to change and I started to be compassionate with myself and start to honor myself and my choices and what I desire, my whole life changed.
Right.
It's like it's like if people knew me 10 years ago, maybe a little longer, 15 years ago, I'm a totally different person. I'm not the same at all. Right, but I honor myself and I choose what's right for me, and I have compassion for my choices. I have compassion for my mistakes. Not there are any, but sometimes we make certain mistakes. I have compassion for those, and I have compassion for sometimes, if I'm feeling down or whatever happens to be. It's like, having compassion for, okay, that's where I was in that moment. So having compassion
Exactly.
for that person that I was then. I'm not like that now, but now I can go back and replay stories or events that happened in the past from a different point of view, from a different lens,
Right.
right? That
Because
lens
that
of
one, because
compassion.
of, yeah, that experience that one went through is gave you to be who you are now.
Yeah.
You can look back and then be compassionate to them, because it's like, thank you for going through what you did. And now, that I can be who I am now.
Yeah.
So that's giving compassion to, all aspects of ourselves.
Exactly. And so it is key. And I don't think a lot of people talk about that. I know you talk about that. I know I talk about that, but there's some other people who talk about radical compassion or something like that. But I don't think
Right.
there's a lot of
Forgiveness.
people, right,
Yeah.
who talk about compassion for yourself. But that comes first, like you were saying. You have to have compassion for yourself in order for you to really be in the fullness of who you are and to really appreciate and acknowledge the gift that you are, right? And that, even acknowledge what you came here to be and do, right? You came to experience life, in this reality. Having compassion for that choice, even, because sometimes we don't, right? We judge. It's like, oh my God, why did I do that? Like, why would I do that? It's like, what stupid idea was that I made at that time? Like, no, not really, right? There was a reason for why you're here now, right? You
Right.
made that choice. So having compassion for yourself, for having that disconnect, and having that separation between, what our soul knows and what our personality knows, having compassion for our personality as well.
Yes. Because it was accumulation of all of the life experiences that carries the vehicle to get you to the next place until it doesn't have to. It's like really
Neo's still sitting under
interesting.
my chair, so I still can't move. If I look uncomfortable, that's why. Because Neo's sitting under my chair and he won't move, and I can't move my chair. It's like, I will not do certain things because of how it might affect Neo, right? So I have more, sometimes, I have more compassion for Neo than I will have for myself, right?
Right.
And I mean, I love him, like there's no question, but it's like, I won't move, if I'm lying in bed and he's lying beside me, at my feet, I won't move because it's like, oh, I don't want to disturb him. I don't want to bother him, even though my whole body might be cramping up. Right? But it's like, no, I can't move because he's sleeping so soundly. I have to like stay put until he gets the hint, like he'll get my energy vibes. I'll start talking to him, Neo, move, Neo, move, Neo, move in my head, right? but that's how kind and compassionate we are and
He
can
wouldn't
be.
want you to experience that. It's
I
like,
know, I
yeah,
know.
you're sacrificing for him, but he doesn't even know that you are. How many times do we do that? That's the martyr. When we're like so sacrificing for this person and they're not noticing it, or
They
even
have
the
no
animal
idea.
or the dog, he has absolutely no idea that you're doing that for him.
Yeah, that's
That's
true. Okay,
funny.
Neo. Okay, Neo, move. Neo, move. Neo, move. He's still not moving. I'm saying it out loud. He's still not
He's
moving.
asleep. He's out.
But it's true, right? We do have, little bits of all of the archetypes, right? And that play out in our lives at some point, right? And so, yes, I have the martyr aspect when it comes to my
The
children,
dog.
the dog. Yeah, right. So Neo is like one of my children. So I was like, yeah, of course, right? And so we all have that. But again, it comes down to at what expense are you playing out that role,
Yeah.
right? At the expense of you, right?
Right.
And
When it's hurting your body.
yeah,
And you're
Neo,
not
move.
sleeping. It's like,
Exactly.
wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, Neo, move. Because he'll be fine within 5 seconds. He'll like roll over and sleep somewhere else, right?
Right.
But that's the thing. We have to start to take a look at ourselves and what we need. What do we require, right? And being compassionate for ourselves, for our personality, for our body, for our soul. Even our soul came to experience something. Can we have compassion for ourselves, for our soul, so that we can experience that with more ease?
Yes. Right. That's what we're here to do, is to have
Right?
that.
So
Yeah.
what would it take for us not to be in resistance anymore and continue to have that friction between our soul's desire and what our personality doesn't understand, right? There's that gap, the resistance, that friction. And there's also that blaming, and we also blame our soul, by judging our soul, say, why would you choose this? Right? Like, what is wrong with you?
Right. We learn really fast that whoever wins the blame shame game is the winner, that's like who stays in power. So we like want to do that. So yeah, it's when we look at it as if we can look at it all as that it's just an experience. If we had never been programmed into that there was anything such as a failure,
Mhm.
and that it's all the next experience and the experience. And it's like, I know if you tried some recipe and it failed, your cake failed, you'd just be like, oh, well, I didn't do this. So it's really about if we can sit back and reflect on it and the consciousness of it. And then it's like, so what do you change in the recipe? What, if I put a little bit of this or a little bit of that.
Yeah. What would you do different next time?
Right.
Right. You wouldn't judge yourself for, oops, the cake, the cake
Yeah.
with whatever fell or whatever.
Right.
I don't even know those terms. Okay. Didn't work out, right? So, but you would just be like, okay, oops, all right, let me try again, and I'll try, to do it differently.
If you put too much salt in something, we'll do that.
Oh.
That's easy for you. You could do that one. It's like, then you would just be like, oh, I just needed this much salt instead of this much salt. Next time I'll only do this much in that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. So why can't we be like that with ourselves and our choices? Right. Well, what would it take for us to have more ease with that, with our choices, and not judge ourselves? What would it take for us to have more acceptance of ourselves and our choices and whatever it is that we're experiencing? Right. And I think, because like it's Thanksgiving and it's my anniversary, it's like I'm really into the whole gratitude and appreciation and acknowledging everything you've come through, everything you've been through, everything you've experienced has got you to where you are now. And I have to say, I have to admit, life is pretty good. I'm in a really good spot, good space. And so everything that has happened to me, but everything that I've experienced has brought me to where I am now. And I'm grateful. Right? I'm grateful. And I'm grateful not just for all the experiences, but all of the people in my life that I have been affected by, or that I had interacted with in some way at some point. I'm grateful that they were all a part of my life, because they helped me to be who I am here and now. Right. Even, those challenging people, right? Even those people, it's like, I never want to see that person again. But even they showed me a part of who I am. It's like, this is who I am. I don't like that. This is who I am.
Right. They showed up for us. I mean, they showed up best for the moment that they did, because we are the ones that's pulling that vibration to us because of that drama dance between the persecutor, the rescuer, and the victim. We're playing that. We send out the signal. They play the role for us, and then it's like, oh, okay. And then until they don't have to anymore. Yeah. And it's like, because when we get our aha, then we don't need that anymore. And then sometimes, it's interesting. This something that I needed for this process this weekend. I was doing breath work with people, and so there's music that's created with this program that it actually moves you through your chakras, and so the music, the mixes, take you through your chakras. And at the time that I was doing this before, I used to facilitate these processes with a partner of mine that is no longer my partner. And we did these together. And anyway, I never wanted to mix music. I have, just like you cooking, I don't want to mix music. I have no desire to do that. Not at all. It's like just bomb. So we had bought mixes together in the past. And somewhere with this computer, I'm going out the door and I'm like, I don't have any music. I couldn't find it on my computer anywhere. Right. And I went into an old belief that I had from experience in that relationship. And that one time before, when I couldn't find the music and it was supposed to have been re-downloaded into my computer, and I asked for it, and I guess they were in whatever place they were in and they wouldn't give it to me.
Do I know this person? I think yes, I know this person.
You do. And so I like called them out, but they were in a different place in their life. Okay. Yeah, so I could have helped them with this. The point is this: I could have helped them stay out in that judgment. And I was for a second, because because the experience I had. And I sat here with it and I was just like, what's the worst thing you can do is say no to me? Yeah. If I asked for this, and I kind of had found some things online that I could use. And it's like, I need to go out the door. What's the worst thing he can say is no to me? That's it. That's the worst thing that can happen. And so I just like text him and was like, good morning, divine being. When you address people as good morning, divine being, it's like, because I was like, this person is a divine being. And I was like, good morning, divine being. Thank you so much for helping me this morning, because I am so grateful to you, because I know you have what I need today.
Wow.
And so I was like, can you support me in this way? I asked for it. Instead of being in my thing, I asked to be supported. And so many times I just go do it myself.
And how could he not with that intro?
And he was like, no problem here. I went to go put something in my car, and I came back and it already answered me and said, I sent these to you. I made some myself and I sent those to you. They were absolutely perfect for what we did. They were beautiful, because this person has a really, keen sense with music and sound, and that ear to all of that I don't have. And I know that, and I appreciate that, and that they have that gift with that. And so I was like, I thought, okay, because there was one part of me back here that went, I better listen to these just to make sure they're okay. Then I was like, no, I'm going to trust it. I'm going to trust this.
Yeah, and that's the thing, trusting
Yes.
the experience,
It's
trusting
here,
people, trusting the support.
It.
Yeah.
Yes, trust the support.
Yeah.
And I went out the door, and it was absolutely perfect. It was absolutely perfect, because that like one of the processes, they were going to their higher dimensional aspects of self and connecting to all of that, and it was this really high vibrational music that took them straight to exactly. I just kind of, there was 2-3 of them, and I was like, okay, it's that one. And it was exactly what I needed for the process. And then the last process we did yesterday before they left was when we circled that morning, and I listened to everybody, and then I heard, take them to the inner child that knows the joy. It's to leave with joy, leave with going through the door of the joy and the inner child that is the absolute, holder of the joy, the pure essence of this. And I was like, I looked at the music, and the music was 1.5 hours, and I wasn't going to do 1.5 hours with them. And I just kind of knew exactly where to start it at. And sure enough, it was like children echoing and singing in the background.
Nice.
And it was like perfect. It was perfect for the experience and where they were going. So that's when you trust, and the energy is there for you, with it. It's like it's there it will support you when you trust. It'll all line up.
And it's perfect. The trusting, and it's the knowing. And as soon as you have that trusting and knowing, even if it was not right, in that energy of trust and knowing, it made it right.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. It's magical, right? It's magical.
I know. Yeah. It is. It's magical. And it's like and when you're in that and you're in that support, then you will be supported.
Yeah. And that's about co-creating with the universe. You're, basically you're trusting the universe. But when did he move? He moved. I don't know when he moved. He's so quiet. Now I can.
Right.
Good boy. Right. And so that's about, basically that's what you were doing, is trusting the universe, not necessarily the person, and not necessarily the music, but you're trusting the universe that what you need, what you require is going to be there, and it'll be perfect.
Right. The whole creation was there, and the right, it was all there. Absolutely. And taking the chance, I could have went back into some place and, put this around me and been all like,
hey,
what's the worst thing? Like, no, so big deal. If we not heard no before, and it's like, so what? Then you just go on to the next thing.
Exactly. What else is possible, right? Choose something else. Do something different.
What else is possible? That's it. What else is possible?
Yeah.
When it does happen, when you're doing manifestation, and that's when you go into what else is possible. This or something better, and what else is possible.
Yeah.
And when you're in that place of what else is possible, then you'll always be shown what else is possible.
It's if you're in the energy of what else is possible, not if you're in the energy of controlling. It has to be like this. So what else is possible is a very expansive, open energy. Right. It's the energy of infinite possibilities, right? And so when you're being in that energy, you have no idea what the next step is going to be. You have no idea what the next anything is going to be. You're just open and allowing, right? So being in allowance, being open, and being willing to receive it at the same time, right? So and it happens like that. It's not like you're thinking, okay, I'm going to allow now, I'm going to receive now, I'm going to, no, it's an energy, it's a vibration, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
it just all goes in one thing after another. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. And that's how life is. If when you're in that energy of, working with the universe, asking for support from the universe, willing to receive whatever it looks like because you have no idea, it's like, it ends up being magical. Whenever I do that, it's always better than I can imagine. It's like it's always magical. It's always like, wow. It's like I never would have thought of this on my own. I could not have come up with this on my own. And part of that is about listening to the universe, listening to your higher self, your guides, etc., spirit, and following the advice, following the messages, the intuitive hits, and trusting that, okay, this is the message I got. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go with it and see what happens. My feeling always is, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see what happens because I'm being guided by spirit. So I know it'll be fine. It'll be great. I'm not gonna control how it's gonna look or how it's gonna show up or anything like that. I'm saying, okay, cool. Let's go. Let's play. And that playful energy, it's beautiful. It's magical. I wish we could do that all the time. But I know sometimes we get stuck in our heads, we get stuck in our control matrices and all that wonderful stuff. But if you can have a little bit more of that play energy, that trusting energy, that co-creation energy with the universe, it's truly, beautiful. Beautiful.
It
Absolutely
is.
beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful and it's magic and it will all unfold in the way that it does.
And it's
So
more
it's like,
ease, because
yeah,
it's so magical. It's just ease filled. There's no stress, there's no tension, there's no nothing. It's like, okay, cool. And
right.
I love that energy. I love
Oh,
it.
so, something that I noticed over the weekend, where I had that poison ivy last week
Mm,
and
mm-hmm.
the ice swelling and all that. And then, and I actually got rid of all this swollen eyes and the whole thing like in 3 days, but then like places started like popping up between my fingers and, in places on my palm and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually went to research it to say, and it said the thicker skin, it just takes it a while for it to show, the exposure. And so by the time I got out there, I had places that had started coming up around. I didn't like wear any rings because I had places that started coming. So I hold this space for other people all weekend, just totally expanded and holding this space and in this energy the whole entire time, and I didn't even notice it. And I got, I woke up sometime in the middle of the night and realized that my hands were healed. And then all the places were just gone.
Mm-hmm.
It just like
Nice.
they disappeared. That it's like nothing ever went on and surfaced and they didn't go any farther and it's not there anymore.
Awesome.
And I know it's because of the vibration of the energy. I know
For
that
sure.
I have no doubt. And we were at it's now a Catholic
Mm-hmm.
camp for children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it has some beautiful, you know, artwork sculptures. There's a mosaic that's hanging in this main atrium where we were that, is the Catholic symbols that they use everywhere, which is, the Christ one hanging on the cross.
Mm-hmm.
It was right above us where we were doing, all of the stuff at. And I saw it how it's the artist that did the piece and how amazing beautiful it was, because
Yeah.
it was like a mosaic stained glass, but it was, on the wall,
I
big,
love stained
taller
glass.
than,
Yeah.
it was big.
Yeah.
And so it, and I, a couple people made a comment, and that was when we were going into the compassion for self. And then I was like, hearing this energy that was like just like screaming through, but it was like going out into them, and I was hearing, get off the cross, get off the cross and be the compassionate one to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't tell them I was hearing that. I just said, go connect to the Christed one and the one that carries the compassion, and go into your heart and ask your inner child and your compassionate one how you can be more compassionate to yourself. And then, breathe and see what comes in. What are the answers into? And that was actually when I went into the higher dimensional parts, but that was how we started.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we circled up later, several of them heard that get off the cross thing. And I never told them that I was hearing it because I got tickled when I heard it and I
Yeah.
started to laugh. And in my experience, because they would share, and I wasn't really saying that much of what I was just holding space for them and listening. And I was like, okay, I'm going to tell you all what happened. And it was just like, wham, come down off the cross, was sitting right beside me. And he was going, this is so cool. This is so fun. And he was like, I love the way you did the crystals with this. What a cool touch. So
I
I'm
love
like,
it.
and I could really, I mean, I could feel, this presence right here beside me, like we were hanging out and it was like, there was no, it was the same. We're like the same,
Yeah.
there wasn't anybody
No
higher or above
hierarchy.
another
Yeah.
dimension, no ascended master. We're just two beings hanging out. And he was like, go to the middle. You stand on this side and I'll stand on this side. Let's do energy together. And he was like, this is, and I was hearing this the whole time. This is so fun. And then I sat back down and was like watching them. And it was just like I was hanging out. And he was like, it's so good to work with you again. And I was like, I know, this is fun. And then he went, how long do you think they're all going to hold on to this illusion? He wasn't talking about my group. He was talking about humanity.
Yeah.
And then he kind of looked up at the, symbol and was like, how long do you think they're going to keep holding on to this? It's like, he's like, I'm watching things dissolve. And this is where, you all are. And he was like, you're really at a tipping point right now. And it's interesting to see how this is like working out. So I would just like if it was just the two of us sitting there watching something, it was
Yeah.
so, and I was having this big experience. But they were also, the people in the breathwork were having their own experience with it, and they felt they said it felt like I was splitting out and I was in multiple places at once. And I said, well, I do know that happens when I work like that in a group, because I've had other people tell me that. That they feel me, but they also feel other beings in the room, but they also think, how did I do that? And I said, so I do know other people have that experience, when I'm holding the whole room. I'm like, they feel me everywhere. And so so we all are that the whole, that Christ is one that is everywhere. We can do that too. It's like we show up that way. So
so what
it
would
was
it take
fun.
for us to show up that way without those limitations of, oh, I can't, only that person can.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it take for us to recognize our powerfulness. I don't like to use the word power, but how powerful we are and how gifted we are and how like multifaceted we are, right? And truly capable we are, and I think
that's it. Capable is probably even a better word than powerful. It's
Yeah.
how truly capable that we really are. Yeah.
Yeah. And, we've forgotten that, we're capable of so much more than what we think, and especially right now in this time and age where we are, some people have, they think they're under being controlled and they're like, being limited, being this and that. It's like, no, you get to choose, right? You can still be yourself. You can still be your, unlimited self, the best you can, but play with it, try it out, see how it plays out for you.
Right.
Who are you willing to be now in this life? Who are you willing to be now at this time? Right?
Exactly.
And that's the thing. It's like, who are you willing to be? And who are you willing to grow into? And when I say grow into, really it's just growing into you,
It's remembering.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like we've forgotten, so many of us have forgotten, or we've heard that we can't, or, like, who do you think you are to be that or do that? It's like, yeah, I'm me. That's who I am.
Right. So those little parts that non-accepted energy, and we shut down those little rooms of ourselves, and it's like, oh, okay, shut that room down, because somebody said something about it. So I'm going to close the door so nobody can ever see that room again.
Yeah.
And then it's like time to open up all the rooms of the mansion. It's like, woo.
Yeah, and the mansion we're talking about is your being.
Exactly.
And, opening up all the doors of you, all the aspects of you, right? All the different aspects of you, opening that up so that you can be that, right. and embody that and express that in this lifetime, because we need that. We need you to be you. We need you to be all of you.
When the doors open, when the light goes in instead of the darkness coming out. Anytime you open the door, the light shines in.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
those areas that are ready to have the light to shine into them.
I mean, I'm always a big proponent of baby steps, take one step at a time, that kind of thing. Don't go too far. But it's like, follow your heart, follow your knowing. What is your compassionate self saying now, right? What is your higher self saying now? What is your inner core being saying now? What's your inner sacred heart saying now? Follow that, listen to that. Right. And if like a lot of people say, well, I don't know what it's saying. It's like, I can't hear it. Well, if you could hear it, what would it be saying?
Yeah, and how would you treat someone else? If you can't you can ask that question. You can look at it that way if you can't go there yet. Well, if this was, how would I treat this person in this situation? And it's like, oh, okay, well then treat yourself that way. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Can you treat yourself that way? Can you be kind to you? Right.
Yeah.
And, I always, it's like I said, Thanksgiving, and it's all about being grateful and all that wonderful stuff. But it's not just about being grateful one time a year or twice a year, or, it's about, be grateful today for all of you, and be grateful tomorrow for all of you, and the next day and the next day. And it's like asking your compassionate self, okay, what would it take for me to be a little bit more compassionate to myself, with myself, for
Hmm.
myself? If you ask that one question every day, you're going to, so much is going to change for you. Because when you start to be more compassionate with yourself, you're going to soften your heart. Those walls are going to start to come down, right? They're going to, and it's like you're going to see more of who you are, and you're going to see more of the amazingness that you are. And then, when you're being compassionate with yourself, your light is going to shine even more brightly, and outwardly even more, radiate more. And then other people around you are going to notice that and say, oh, there's something different about this person. There's something different about her. I wonder what
Yeah,
it
and you're going to
is.
carry more joy, and that's going to be, will be a vibration, a radiance to it.
Hmm. Right. So that's what I'm going to ask everyone to, really ask yourself every day, about being compassionate, but also, you know, what are you grateful for you, about you, for you? What can you appreciate about you today? What can you acknowledge about you today? It's like, stop focusing on the outer and focus more on the inner. Focus on you. You can also focus on everybody else too, but also focus on you, right? Have compassion for you, have kindness for you, have gratitude for you. And I think that's a big key point for everyone to do right now. Take 2 minutes and say, I'm so grateful for my body, I'm so grateful for me, I'm so grateful for my choices, whatever it happens to be. I'm so grateful that my soul decided to come here, to choose
Yeah.
to be here now. And then when you start to have that, you're going to start to have a different relationship with your soul, with your body, with yourself.
Yeah, the gratitude, we've talked about that lots of times. It's the key to all of it.
It
It can
is
be,
gratitude
yeah,
and appreciation, because when you're appreciating, when you're being gratitude, you're not judging.
right. If you that just that one thing of a morning, just to say to yourself, I'm so blessed. If you can say that first thing, it changes everything. I had a older lady that was a client of mine. She was actually a massage client, and she she said that to me one day, and that she said that to herself all the time. And I would notice that she would say that, even that she would be talking and she'd go, I'm just so blessed, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just so blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed the energy in it when she would say that. And then when I started saying that, because I don't think that I was saying it then, and then
Yeah.
it was like when I started saying, I'm so blessed, and even say it out loud, I am so blessed.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like I could feel energy shifting. It's like that easy to just say it.
Well, it's interesting. I was talking about that last week with one of my groups, and a couple of people in the group, they felt uncomfortable because they're not used to acknowledging that they can be a blessing, or acknowledge blessing. They thought blessings only come from God or the church, that kind of
Right.
thing, right? but when they started to, we did some energy work and clearing work, etc. And when they started to really allow that and see that they are a blessing, they really got it. And then it made a huge difference, and it's like, that's what, and I said to them, well, I hope I'm a blessing to all of you, because, like, I love doing this, blah, blah, blah. Right. But the thing is, it's like, they can see other people being a blessing, but they couldn't see themselves being a blessing. Right. So it's a different mind shift. Right. And but when you get it, then it's like totally changes your whole outlook on life and living. And, so it's like, yes, you are a blessing, and and I say that all the time. It's like sending you all much love and blessings. And I started saying that a couple of years ago about the blessings part. And I know people didn't get it at the time. Right. But now they're starting to get it. And it's like, yes, I am so blessed, and I'm so fortunate, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so, all that wonderful stuff.
Yeah, if you can say that even when it's something that doesn't seem so great at that moment, because it always could be worse. I mean, really. And when you can't know that, and then if you can switch it that much, because even if you think, oh God, it could be worse, I'm so blessed. If you have to say that to get you to the I'm so blessed,
then do it.
Then that's okay
absolutely.
too.
Yeah,
because you will feel the change.
And
like
sometimes we
there's
don't
a thing
see
that changes.
Yeah, and we don't always see the blessing in the moment. We might see it in hindsight, right? Hindsight is 2020, So it's like, we might not always see the blessing until much later. But if you can start to look for the blessing now, you're going to see it quicker, right?
Right. It will come.
It will come.
Well, you'll just feel the energy lift off of you. And then it's like, the what it is, awareness won't really matter. You will feel an energy shift.
Yeah, you will feel
it. And then when you do that, it's like there's an opening, and then you kind of then know, I'm so blessed with these. I'm going to have to get me some. They're telling me to get something different because it keeps coming out.
Me too. I'm so blessed with these, but I need new ones. I can tell.
It will, you'll get a knowing then. It's like, it feels like it shifts the energy. And then through that, like there's an aha that comes, and then, or something just shows up. It's like, because your attention went off of it, and it switches everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to acknowledge all of you for being a blessing in my life, for our lives. And thank you, everyone, for being such a blessing in my life. I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful, so grateful. And we're both sending you all much love and blessings. So I know we got to go today, but it's like, this was such a wonderful, fun conversation. We always have so much fun talking about gratitude, appreciation, acknowledgement, blessings, compassion. It's like, oh my God, it's like, we could talk forever. But yeah,
be blessed, Canada, awesome. For your day of Thanksgiving.
Exactly. All right, so thank you so much, everyone, for watching an hour later. And thank you, Kimberly, again, for always, we like these conversations are so like on the spot in the moment. We never plan anything beforehand. But we always have so much fun in these conversations. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everyone. So until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always.
Thank you for being the gift to humanity that you are.
Bye for now, everyone.
Bye.